Hey everybody, Invisiblekatana here doing a reaction and review for the Resident Evil Vendetta trailer. Um, it is the third, I believe, the third. It's either the third or fourth. I'm pretty sure it's the third one. They spread them out so far. I feel like it might be the fourth 3D Resident Evil movie, but I'm pretty sure it's only the third. But it's the third one, and I'm excited for it. I love the 3D Resident Evil movies. I like the first live action one after that as well. But I love these movies. Like we get to see the characters, outside of the films. They're their own little contained stories that are just, kind of plopped in the world somewhere, and I love that. The first movie had Claire, which I thought was really cool. The second movie, so the first one I believe was Regeneration. The last one was Damnation. That was Leon. That was a really good action one. And then this one, I know at least Leon's in it for sure. But we're gonna get into it, and I'm gonna do that. I do love the visuals for this though. It's a nice reference to the first game.
A man named Glenn Arias. He took over New Umbrella and Tri-Cell's operation.
That makes me think of the movie, The Laser Beam.
The wonderful thing about my products is that they know the difference between ally and enemy. And it's our mission to bring his ass down.
Okay, so that's Chris. But, oh man. Okay, so I got a lot to say about Rebecca showing up. Oh, she's been kidnapped. But still, Rebecca has been like forgotten. So something with Rebecca is fine by me. They're pulling off all sorts of cool moves here, so I'm actually excited to see how that plays out. And like super ride, I don't know. But that's cool. Leon's got his jacket from that's doing super cool moves and stuff. But he was doing he's wearing the jacket from Resident Evil 6. It's the same style, but it's the colors are a little bit different.
Biohazard Vendetta.
Cool. Wow. Sweets in theaters. So in theaters May 27th. Alright, so simply put, I think that was a good trailer. It was pretty much like all the other trailers. Like it's funny, but I remember the other Resident Evil, the 3D or CG movie trailers, just a little bit that way, and it's very similar. It's a lot of jumping around. Here's your main characters. Here's this. Here's that. My mini freak out. Rebecca's in this, and that is amazing to me because they act like Rebecca doesn't exist in the freaking franchise. So this is cool. I can tell that she looks older here because Rebecca. So this is actually funny. I just finished. Earlier today I beat Resident Evil 0, which is the only game where Rebecca is a playable character. So it's Rebecca Chambers and Billy Cohen. Both of them have been like completely forgotten within the franchise ever since that game came out. Like Rebecca's in the original game, so they put her in the remake, and she got her own, spotlight in Resident Evil 0. She's shown up as like a bonus character in like mercenary modes and stuff where you could use her, but that's it. She has not been a part of the main stories since Resident Evil 0. So I'm super happy to see that she's in this. And she was 18 in that, so she's like 33 now or something, because they do it as like, it's actually I guess it would be 2017 now. Within the Resident Evil universe, although this could be 2016 or something, however they decide to do it. I don't know, I guess not, because considering this is coming out in May, we have Resident Evil 7 coming out this month, so I would assume that this does take place in 2017, because they like to kind of keep stuff in order, so maybe it'll take place like just before that, or something like that. But I assume it'll either be this year or last year where this storyline takes place. But I love getting to see Rebecca. Like I said, she actually looks older, which makes sense because she's not 18. She's 33 now, or I guess 34. So that's really awesome. I love getting to see that. It's cool that there are more characters than just Leon because he was the main character in the last one. And I believe it was just him because of it's been so long since I saw that one. I don't remember a lot about that movie. I just remember that, the first movie was Claire and then the second one was Leon. And now we have both Leon and Chris and Rebecca's in it, even though she seemingly just got kidnapped. but I'm sure she'll have her time to shine. She better. I mean, if they're putting her in there just to get kidnapped, I'm gonna be super pissed off. Um, but I'm happy to see her, so that's really great. Leon being in here, like I said, he was in the last one, so it's not that big of a deal to me that he's in this. Um, Chris being in this is kind of cool because they've been teaming up. I would assume that this is going to take place after 6, of course. So that was, I believe that was the first time they actually met each other. So this, I would assume, is going to take place afterwards. I don't like how Chris looks. If I'm being totally honest, I think he looks really weird. Like, he just does not look like Chris to me. And that might be a weird thing to say, but I feel like he looks really like Leon. I feel like he looks like Leon. I feel like they took somebody's actual face, which I'm assuming that's what they did, and that's who they molded Chris after. And it might be the voice actor who does him in this movie, which I wasn't really paying enough attention to see like if it was the same voice actors from Resident Evil 6 or anything. But it just looks so different. It's kind of weird. And this is very odd to say, but I swear, looking at his face, because I have it paused right here, he reminds me of the dude, the main actor from the Raid movies. Like, that's, like, when I look at his eyes and his eyebrows, that's who I see, is like that guy, especially because he also has his hairstyle, so he kind of looks like him from, like, the eyes up. I think of the dude from the Raid, but going down, like, his nose and everything else is different, but, like, his eyes, the top half of his face just looks totally different to me. So it's kind of weird seeing that because it just doesn't look like Chris to me at all. And I think Leon looks the same. He just looks older because he is older. And like I said with Rebecca, she looks pretty much exactly the same. It's just like, yeah, she's just she's a grown woman now. She's not the teenager from Bravo team. So that's really cool. I'm sure I'll easily get past that. It's not going to bother me that much. But it just doesn't look like Chris to me. It just looks a little weird. And considering I feel like Leon and Rebecca, look normal. They like even especially with Rebecca, like I said, not being in anything since she was like the 18-year-old character. That's the model we always see, and I feel like they did a really good job with that because she's in, like I said, like 33, 34, so she's early 30s, so she still looks younger, but of course she's a grown woman compared to like actually being a young girl. So that's really cool. So I do like that. The action in this seems pretty intense. Like they're flipping and flying all over the effing place. It's just like Resident Evil 6 where you just flip and jump and all that craziness. All sorts of creatures. This one thing has a Gatling gun, which, I mean, if you play Resident Evil 3, the Nemesis has a rocket launcher sometimes, so we've seen some crazy stuff before, but I'm really excited for this. I'm excited to see what they do with this movie. Hopefully, I can see it in theaters if it comes here, if enough people buy it. Um, Hopefully I'll actually get to see it in theaters because I would love to see this movie in theaters. Seems like it's going to be a good creepy start to it. It seems like the trailer does actually kind of explain the process of the film. So it starts off where they're looking for this Glenn Harris guy in the creepy sort of mansion, and then everybody gets killed except for Chris as a main character, and then they go through this crazy little fight sequence in like this field area. And somehow Chris ends up surviving that, and then he ends up running into Leon, and they argue, and Rebecca's there for whatever reason. So, we got our three main characters. She gets kidnapped. I don't know. She's the girl, so who knows? But I'm excited for it. It does take place in New York as well, so that's interesting. It's like in a real life location. It's not just some random spot. Like they have the New World Trade Center here in this trailer, so that's very interesting. It's like it's in New York City. It's real life location. It's the next level and stuff. So it looks like it's going to be fairly intense. Zombies all over the city, going nuts. Leon and Chris, going crazy in like the tiny little hallway segment. Motorcycle chase with Leon. I'm excited. It seems like it's going to be a nice. They do a good balance. Like these have always been action based, and that's the thing about them. Like this was before, because I think the first movie came out. Before 5, yeah, that came out like before 5 even came out because it led into the whole Tricell thing when Umbrella was changing the Tricell, and that one started off, and it's kind of creepy because it's in it's in an airport, and Claire's trying to take care of like this little kid or like a couple of kids or something, and it's just chaos. Like it's partly actiony because when things first get really crazy, like it's nuts and people just dying all over the place, but then it gets creepy because the power is off and then it's nighttime, so I feel like they're still going to stick to that, but I think this will definitely go more actiony. I think the horror stuff will start in the very beginning, and then it's like, all right, creepy stuff's gone. All cool action sequences after that, and you know, they've always kind of done that, so I don't mind when they do it with these 3D movies. Plus, it's just cool to have a freaking story in a Resident Evil film that's just new. It's just a brand new story that doesn't take place in the games. It's not a retelling of the games or anything like that. So I think that was a good trailer. I'm really excited for this movie. I'm glad to see, Leon and Chris working together again. My favorite thing about the whole freaking trailer is that Rebecca Chambers is coming back. We actually get to see her in something that is not just poof, she's in a special mode. It's the 18-year-old version of the same character. I'm happy to see her as a grown freaking woman, and we get something about her character as to what she's been doing all this time. So that might not matter to other people, but I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, and whenever characters just don't show up forever, it bugs me. And Rebecca has not been seen since she was 18 years old. She's like a missing kid on a milk carton. So I'm glad to see her come back. I would love it if they bring Billy Cohen in somehow in the franchise. That obviously won't be happening in 7 unless they pull a whole crazy switcheroo on this. But really happy to see that Rebecca's in this. I'm excited for the action stuff. It seems like it'll actually be, really sort of, cheesy over the top, but also somehow still very cool. So I am excited for this. Like I said, hopefully I do get to see this in theaters. I would love to do that. But I thought this was a good trailer. I'm excited for this one. I wish they would make more of these. Capcom would just be like, hey, let's put more into making our 3D movies, and then we'd have a lot of good Resident Evil movies instead of the live action ones. So I'm excited for this for sure. But of course, we'd love to know what you guys thought about it. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And we get these movies very sparingly, the 3D ones. So I would love to know, it'll probably be like almost 10 years from now, but what characters do you guys want to see in the next film? Me personally, I'd love to see Jill come back. We haven't seen Jill for a long time either. Ever since Resident Evil 5. And technically Revelations came out after 5, but as far as the timeline goes, we don't know what happened to Jill after Resident Evil 5. Like, after she was basically, like, mind controlled, we don't know how she brought herself back from that. And she's kind of just been absent since then. Claire's been missing for a long time. Like, there's not too many characters, but we do have, like, really big gaps in, it's like normal games. It takes years before the next, game comes out. And this time we aren't seeing anybody. Maybe. Still don't know about the Ada thing in Resident Evil 7. We'll have to see. But I would love to see Jill. Like I said, I would love for them to bring in Billy Cohen and finally expand on his story since, Resident Evil 0. But I'd love to see Jill. I'd love to see Billy. I would love to see Rebecca again, because I still want to see more of Rebecca because she's only been in this and Resident Evil 0. But those are like my top 3 picks. Jill, Rebecca, and Billy. And then I guess number 4 would be Claire, because I think everyone else has kind of had a nice bit of focus lately, especially with 6, there are a ton of people in that. So we got to see a lot of characters that we haven't seen in a while. But I love this trailer, like I said. Would love to know what you guys thought about it. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.